Yo, what's up, everybody? Bren here, back with the gang for Loco, Max, Danksy. How's everybody doing today on the panel?
Happy Friday, man. Hope
Doing
you're
great.
doing well. Good to see Green, but
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see
Yes,
how long
sir.
he'll stay.
Hey, don't no buts.
Yep, for
No
sure.
buts.
Yeah, since we did our last stream, some big things have happened. Obviously, the tariffs pause. We'll talk about that, implications of that. We'll hear from Max, what he thinks about that, and a lot more. Um, we see you guys in the chat. What's up, G7, Jessica? What's up, J Star? What's up, Ethan? What's up, Still Trippin'? So the way we start out these shows, if you're new, first of all, welcome. We do these shows Tuesday and Friday. Tuesday at 1 p.m. PST. We've been doing these shows for about 8 months now with Danksy for Loco and Rotes, and have been blessed to have Max on here the last couple months. So definitely check us out. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss a stream. But before we get started with all the good stuff, I do want to do a little bit of a review with our boy Rotes here. He's going to talk about a little bit of about what happened since our last stream on Tuesday. Rotes, you want to take it over, brother?
Sure, but let's take a moment to admire the green heat map. Just
Yes.
take it in. Remember that when we are going down and capitulating, that it's likely to be followed by one of these nice, beautiful green days.
It looks
So
sort of like Christmas without the red.
yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's one red hiding in there, other than the Tron logo. But there's one
The
red
green's
hiding in
best part
there.
of Christmas, anyway.
But it's
Um,
pretty good.
It looks like we're flying over a forest of trees, and some of them are lighter green and darker green, and
yep. Isn't it beautiful?
Flying over Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, talking about where we're at, Bitcoin back to 82,000, up nearly 10% since peak fear. So a nice rebound rally on Bitcoin. Talks of how even how tariffs could help Bitcoin. Bitcoin remaining fairly resilient. I think there's some belief that the 75K could be a hold point. I don't know. We're still in a downtrend. We still haven't broken the downtrend. So, we still wait through that, but it's nice to see the resiliency. Largest single day stock market rally since 2008. That wasn't today, but a couple days ago. We had this big rally off this fear. What happened is that Trump announced 90 days tariff pausing for segments of tariffs, which kicked the market into a rally. Of course, we talked about that on Tuesday on weekend rumors of tariffs being paused. Seems like that leaked a little bit early and then got redacted. And um, uh, then Trump said, "Hey, it's a good time to buy," and then removed the tariffs, and all kinds of fun things ensued. Uh, Also, exciting happened yesterday or the last 48 hours. 4,000 ETH Alien Punk sale. This punk has sold several times. It's up into the range of like 30 million in volume. Maybe the single highest value trading volume asset of all time. It was last sold about a year ago for 16 million and 4,500 ETH. But ETH is down significantly. This is a 10% loss in ETH, but a 60% loss in total value. Um, so pretty significant there, but a big sale, and these big sales kept capture attention into NFTs and
so,
sometimes can be a bit of
so
a catalyst.
what you're saying is that Bren got a good deal.
Brent got a great deal.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Brent got a great deal.
Well,
The previous time when it sold, it was 7 million 2 years ago. So yeah, definitely a very good deal.
there
Um,
we go. No
so
wonder he was late.
mhm, yeah, he's just polishing it off, admiring it. Recession odds are at about 63% for 2025. Kind of fluctuates. I think we had a pretty good CPI pre-inflation numbers coming in below expectations, so that's good. AI agent market cap. This is really the fart coin market cap when you really think about it. But 5.67 billion, up 10% in the last 24 hours. NFT volume, we had a $10 million day yesterday because of the punk sale, but 3.68 million, kind of where we've been at. Solana and Ordinals, again, where they've been at. Kind of some spikes here and there on the dailies. Project Aeon has been up over the last couple of days, 21% to 0.9 ETH. And Pi Pandas with a bit of a bump up 17% over the last 24 hours, and seeing signs, which is an ETH kind of like DApp scenario there. So it could be a bit of a, whether that's a idle type of situation. I mean, not to that extreme, but that NFT is up to 20% to 2.2 ETH. And on the Memecoin side of things, 5% up on Doge, down 6% on the week. Epay up 5% as well, but down 3%. Bonk up both 11% in the last 24 hours to 900 million, 4% the last week. And then Fartcoin is the real true winner when it comes to the crypto side of things, almost across the board. It's up nearly 100%, 91% in the last week, up 25% in the last 24 hours to 875 million. Still down a fair bit from its all-time highs, but it's captured some of this general excitement and mind share, and kind of bucked the trend on the market over the last, say, five
I
to
think
7 days.
Farcoin is being discussed more than Bitcoin. I think
Yeah.
it's the number one crypto right now. It's insane, at least on
Right.
CT, of course.
We all love, especially when you're not feeling well, when the markets are puking. The best thing to relieve yourself is pass a little gas. Prediction markets, price achievement for 100K is up 4% to 9% probability, and 70K has been tumbling pretty significantly. I think it was at one point nearly 40% probability. It's now only down to 21% probability. So a bit of a positive shift in sentiment overall as well. And that's the update.
I'll tell you a quick piece of good news on this list.
Mm.
Is under the macro where it says recession odds are now at 63%. You can almost bet the ranch that it'll never happen now.
Like it.
So that's good news.
Is that poly market?
Yeah.
Roads? Yeah.
Yeah.
So clearly people are more scared than they should, and this is normally a bottom signal. Maybe.
And it peaked around like 70 some odd percent prior to the tariffs being paused. So
Right on.
in the peak fear kind of scenario, right? So
Hell
interesting
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thanks for the review, Roach. Always appreciate it. We'll go over the recession stuff too. I think I asked a second ago. I realized I was muted, but we'll go over the recession stuff. I'm looking at the chat. Appreciate you guys for being in here. What's up, Nokia? What's up, Ethan? What's up, Miss D? If you guys do have any comments, questions, anything you want to add to the conversation we're about to have here in a second, we will be checking the chat, and we'll get to those at some point. So first, let's go ahead and touch on probably the biggest thing that's happened since we did our stream. Can I share my screen? Let's see here. Let's just do window. Make sure I'm good to go. All right, perfect. Obviously, biggest thing, Trump pausing the tariffs for pretty much the rest of the world, 75 countries, or the rest of the world, but leaving the tariffs on for China, correct? So Max, what are your thoughts on this? And then my second question would be, I think a lot of people I'm seeing on Twitter, they're like assuming that after this 90 days that these tariffs are going to go back into place and it's just a 90-day pause. Do you see it playing out that way, or do you see negotiations happening in the meantime?
The point of last Wednesday in the Rose Garden was never to put tariffs on the whole world. That was not the point.
Yeah.
The point was to get all the tariffs against us removed. That's it. The point was to have fair trade, fair and free trade. In fact, I would say the odds have tripled that we end up with a scenario where maybe you get a United States, Mexico, China and Canada free trade zone,
Ooh.
which
What would
would
a free trade zone mean?
it means nobody charges anybody any fees,
Wow. I
which
didn't.
would mean explosive growth. Explosive. It would be shocking. So when you see this kind of garbage, which I believe is complete market manipulation at this point, um, granted, it'll take, you know, it took them 4 years to say, yeah, the China virus was China virus. But I, I, I think the same is very obvious of what's going on right now in the market. There is no financial report that anybody can point to that would suggest there's a good reason to erase 14 years of max tariffs up front. There's nothing.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to find that out later.
Right on. And then obviously in reaction to that, we got, let's just look at the S&P 500 at first. This big rally off of this thing. I think it was the biggest rally, this candle right here, since 2008. Like we were talking about, Max. I think this move right here um, was probably one of the biggest drops ever, and it was within a few days of that big rally.
Yeah,
Something we've been talking about a lot on these streams. So
always happens.
yeah, right on. Yeah, there's still, and then Bitcoin, obviously, nice bounce off of that too. Kind of came back to retest that low. We'll see here chart wise. I think for me, until it bounces or closes above 95K, which is that prior bounce high, we're kind of just waiting to see the way it plays out. So let's see here. What I have here. I'm sorry. Let me pull up my bookmarks. Um, for Loco, what are your kind of thoughts on what's going down with the tariffs? Do you see kind of what we were saying with Ben here, that China and the U.S. will kind of be a stalemate for a while? Has anything changed since our last stream and the way
I
you?
actually think that there's going to be a deal, like Max pointed out, quicker than we think. We're already seeing the US and India looks like they're already in talks to reach a trade deal, right? And so when India, Vietnam, and other major countries that are partners to the U.S. when it comes to manufacturing and other bigger industries are coming to the table, I think India's going to have even more. Sorry, China's going to have even more pressure. So, I mean, you can even look at the markets right now. Like, everyone was calling for a Black Friday yesterday or the day before that, and the markets are green, and with a lot of them rebounding significantly. So you can see today's treasury action is mostly due to inflation expectation driven. I don't know if you said some of those numbers, but uh, the commodities were up as 1 year inflation expectation jumped from 6.7 to 6.7 from 4.9%. But I don't think it really matters at all. I think we reached the bottom last Friday or this Monday, and then the stocks may be in a range bound here for the next a few weeks until things get clarified, but I don't really see a recession in sight at any point. And you're also seeing, I was talking to my friend Ben, who came on the show on Tuesday, and unlike in 2018, Chinese stocks are actually showing very little volatility right now. Which if you think something was going to get worse, you probably see a lot of volatility there, but in fact, some of them are actually up in the green and showing little volatility, which is what you want to see when you're reaching what it looks like to be a bottom in equities. So overall, very positive, and I do think that, as Max mentioned, we're gonna see some headlines very soon where a deal will be reached and the stocks are gonna shoot up another 15-20% perhaps in a few weeks. So those are my thoughts so far. So yeah, staying positive.
Right on. Now, Max, you see, I don't know if you probably saw Bill Ackman's tweet here. He said, imagine if when within the next 89 days, the U.S., Europe, and Japan agree to 000 on tariffs, then Europe and Japan join the U.S. in raising tariffs on China, then the U.S., Europe, and China, Japan as a united front negotiate with China to remove tariffs and trade barriers and place a strong structural protections for IP. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, that's kind of what we just said.
Yeah, for sure.
um, my thoughts are that if you're Donald Trump, this is playing out exactly the way you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the way you want it to. Now, the morons that are in the media and the crybabies in the investment business don't get that. If you follow those two people or those two groups, the crybabies in the Wall Street business or the morons in the media, if you follow those two groups, you will lose. I've been doing this too long. It hasn't changed in 40 years. Um, my bet is inside of the next 3-4 weeks tops, you'll see a red banner come across the screen on CNBC that says Trump announces historic trade deal with China. It'll be right on the tail of some stupid ass remark from the media saying, China's going to take our tariffs to 500%. The point is that China and America want you to think bad shit. They want you to think that because neither one of those guys wants anybody to know who gave up what. They both have to come out winners. Both of their groups of people think they won, and America wins altogether. So it's just a matter of how they get it done.
Hell yeah. To touch on what you were saying earlier about the recession talk, you said there's almost a 0% chance of that happening now. Is that because of the tariff situation, or what did you mean by that?
I meant that when sentiment gets on one side of the bathtub, you look at the other side of the bathtub.
Yep, was just about to say you're seeing a lot of headlines like this now
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
everywhere, right?
And by the way, that never happens when you get a recession.
Yeah, it's always out of nowhere. Like people aren't expecting it.
So we're going to show some charts that'll prove all that contrary stuff.
Yeah.
And we are we are in a very, very, very stretched contrary position, like historical kind of numbers.
Yeah. And then you see Larry Fink saying we're like very close, or if not in a recession now. Like people are trying to, the kind of like thinking that's meaning. I mean, what do you think he means by that? We're in a recession now. Like,
Well, Larry Fink wants you to think we're in a
yeah,
recession. Remember, Larry Fink runs the largest asset management business in the world, which means he needs the largest inventory of stuff to sell.
yeah,
Remember, Wall Street is an inventory business. When they're low on inventory, they scare you into selling. When they're high on inventory, they tell you things are overpriced. Excuse me, when they're low on inventory, they scare you into selling. When they have sold all their inventory and they have none, then they want you to be afraid so they can load up again.
okay, gotcha. That makes sense. We should go over those charts now. I think. Let me see. I want to pull them up. Let's see. Twitter Spaces. Did you send them to me personally? Yeah, I think so.
I send them in the group.
Okay, the group. Let's see.
I think one point that we haven't made it, and maybe that's part of what Larry Fink does. But I mean, you saw the banks like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley pulling back their recession calls, literally one day after they posted them. So no one really knows what's going on. But I guess the overall concern is the corporate credit markets are actually experiencing like a lot of volatility and tightening liquidity. So there's not a lot of liquidity. So perhaps that's where the concern comes in terms of recession for in a corporate company level, more than in the macro and trade situation. I think a deal is going to be reached very soon. But there's that's been going on around the corporate credit markets being a little bit you know some sort of like warning red flags. Just because if companies don't have the ability to pretty much fund growth and new builds, is going to be a little bit, it's going to slow down pretty much some of these companies, and we still have to see what's going to happen in the next earnings reports for some of these major Max 7 and companies. I think it's definitely going to show a slowing economy so far, but it doesn't mean really that we have to enter a recession. It's just the first half of this year is definitely going to show a slowdown significantly, whether it was forced by Trump policies or just cycle, a normal cycle, kind of like a normal economic cycle that happens every 4 or 5 years. I think it's every 4 years, where liquidity has to be renewed, and you know and pretty much more liquidity printed through quantitative easing policies. And I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I think there's a concern more on the corporate side than on the micro side of things.
Yeah, have you been paying attention to the corporate debt, Max, or do you take that into account at all?
Well, the Fed does. That's why they just came out with comments from 2 or 3 governors that state that they're more than ready to provide liquidity
Oh yeah,
if something like that happens. So I don't.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I just saw some 5 minutes
at
ago.
this point, everything we're watching is self fulfilling.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
all. This is all now self fulfilling. If we want to fuck it up ourselves, we'll do that. When I say we, I don't mean we in the room, but the country of investors uh, will indeed cause a self fulfilling event. That's what fear does.
for sure. Ro Panda says, "What's up with the bonds? People saying Trump paused the tariffs because of them."
You mean the
Well,
10-year treasury note?
Yeah, I think we
I've
talked about.
just been spiking while stocks go down, so it's interesting. But I think yesterday everything was down. Like the dollar was down, stocks were down. So I think we're just in this time where everything can go up or down due to uncertainty more than really making any structural or fundamental sense.
Miss D says, "Sir Max, how does free trade with China benefit the U.S. manufacturing sector?"
free trade with China benefits it because we get to sell a shit ton more stuff into China.
Okay, that makes sense.
So whoever is here making stuff will do a lot more making stuff.
Mhm. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Perfect. And I want to take this time really quickly, before we move on to these charts that Max had sent me. I do want to, if you guys could please retweet and like the stream, so we can get this out to more people. Like I said, we're going to be doing these despite any market conditions. We're going to keep doing these, keep improving the entertainment value, all of that stuff. So we appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure to give everybody on the panel a follow. Go and follow Max here. Got this sick ass banner. I don't know if you guys noticed. He has the crazy cover pictures every time. I'm talking to my editor here to make me one. Max is fucking showing us all up here, but definitely go and follow his Twitter. Had a lot of great tweets lately here, and then also his YouTube video, or YouTube channel as well. Max, I assume you will probably add more YouTube videos to this eventually, right?
I've got all those clips that you guys are prepping that are going to go up. There's a lot more to put up there.
Awesome. And then, do you want to tell them a little bit about your objective with the channel?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of everything we're doing is, you're looking at I realize it doesn't seem like this because, when everybody's worried about the headline of the day, they're not seeing the big picture. But the whole world is going to change. It's in the middle of changing. All these things that we're watching, we're going to look back on a couple years from now and go, oh, Now I understand. It's like when I look at my son, who is now 24, and I look at him and I say, do you imagine all the stuff that had to happen so his mom and I meet so that he can exist? And all the shit someone goes through in their life to get somewhere where they understand they're supposed to be. That's the same thing that's happening in markets. You're going to look back, years from now and you're going to go, God, now I see exactly why the tariffs had to happen. I mean, they fit perfectly. Now I understand what Trump kept bitching about. Now I understand why he kept laughing at the media because they were so stupid. It'll all make sense, but the problem is when you get too close, none of it makes sense and it makes you scared. It calls on the weakest part of you. And any winner understands you got to be able to shut off the weakest part of you. All of us have it. It's just some of us shut it off. It's a choice. So, where I see Roja there. It's never been this bad. I'm going to show you a screen of where they said it's never been this bad. We're going to go over a couple of things that are going to kind of shock you and make you realize the window we're sitting in is like, it only happens on very rare occasions. Very rare. Go ahead, Brent. You there, Brent? Hello, hello.
You would
My
lose
bad. I
Brennan.
realized I was muted again. I need to
Yeah.
pay attention to that. But yeah, I'm going to share those charts with you real quick here. Let's see. Stop screen share. Let's do the entire screen. All right, perfect. So let's start with this one, Max, the one on top.
Sure, we can start that one. That's
Perfect.
this is a chart that we looked at last week, or maybe earlier this week. I don't know. It grades how much pressure there is internally on stocks, which is a good read of how fast people want to get out of the market. And as you see now, we are in the middle of the worst time ever. Ever. Like, think of everything that's ever gone wrong. Everything that's ever gone wrong. Are you going to put that back up? And ask yourself this: did we make it through every single thing that's ever gone wrong? Well, obviously the answer would be yes, we made it through. And we made it through so well that about a month ago we were at record all-time highs. And here we are in a month. We now think this period is finally the one that's the end of the world. Finally. Thank God, because Jesus Christ, we have worried about shit for 50 years. And we're finally at the end of the world. All it took, it wasn't COVID, it wasn't a global pandemic, it wasn't a complete stoppage of the financial system in 08 and 09, it wasn't the crash of 1987, it wasn't any of the recessions, none of the natural disasters, none of the fraud before now, it was none of that. It was the fact that maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump is going to put tariffs on 5 other countries. Maybe. That was what was going to end the world. That's so much horse shit that I can't tell you how stupid that is. They haven't made the word yet to tell you how dumb that really is. Which tells you, in my opinion, this is orchestrated. These are events that have nothing related to finance. I don't know what they are. I don't know how they're doing it, but I will promise you we're going to find out later that this isn't finance. But the point is you have to say to yourself, Look at every other point in 20 years that even came remotely close to that purple line. And you want to ask yourself this question. When it got to that purple line, was it better to be a buyer or a seller? And not one of them has the answer, you should have been a seller. Every single one of them was, if you can bet the ranch, then borrow money and bet the ranch. Every one of them was like a multi-year, decade kind of buy. They weren't like, hey, buy for a week and get ready to sell. They were load the fucking boat buys. Now, go to scroll down. No, not that one. Go to that one with the purple square at the bottom. Okay, guys, so this is the same exact chart, except it's 200-day moving averages, which is even more pressure reading in the market. Now, you see that little purple box? I drew a line around the bottom portion of these panic periods. And then I drew 6 numbers across the bottom. And I'm going to go over what these numbers were. The disaster du jour of global economic news of the last 20 years. Now, we know what 08 and 09 was. It was sort of the end of the world as we knew it, until the Fed came in and pumped in trillions of dollars and made the world work again. That's number one. By the way, at number one, by the time number one had come to life, by the time we reached number one, let me tell you what had happened. The stock market had gone down 38%. We had lost 2 of the largest insurance companies in the world. We had lost 3 of our largest banks in the United States. And we had lost 4 of the largest top 15 Wall Street houses in the country. We had lost them. They were gone. They had to merge with someone else, literally overnight in secret deals with the Fed backing every single one of them. That's what had to happen to get to number one. By the way, that was Dow 6,700. So you ask yourself, well, by the time it got down to that purple box, should I have sold and run away from the market, or should I have bought? Well, at Dow 6,700, it was a pretty good buy. Pretty fucking good buy. Okay, so let's go forward to number 2. Whoa. No. Okay, number 2, China currency crisis. End of the world. China was going to go right off a fucking cliff. That didn't happen. Number 3, Brexit. Who remembers Brexit? My God, we heard about Brexit for a year every day. It was going to destroy Europe. Europe was finished. Brexit was going to ripple throughout the world. Trade was going to collapse. Everything was going to go to shit. And everybody sold the stock market off. Was it better to buy or sell right when that was happening? So go to number 4. What was number 4? Well, number 4 was the first tariff war. By the way, it never ended. It never ended. But guess what the range was in 2019 for the United States stock market? High of 28,400, low of 21,000. We are double that now. And the first China tariff war is still in place. Now, what's number 5? We know what number 5 is. Number 5 is the end of the world as we knew it. The global pandemic, COVID shutdown, locked in your house, businesses closed, millions of people out of a job, and more money than we'd ever printed in our lives pumped into the system just to exist. That's what it took to get to number 5. By the way, are you noticing that the numbers that exist on the chart are after all the shit happened. What's number 6? Number 6 is the end of an 18-month process to get the end of the 22 bear market low. You had to sell off for 18 months to get to number 6. And then finally, we have now. In 1 month, 1 month, we have collapsed the market. Now, I want you to think about all the periods before right this minute. Were you supposed to buy it or sell it? Now, the good news is for 1 through 6, you have the benefit of history. It's like cheating on a test. You get to get 100 on this test, okay? You get to go back and look at what happened after every single one of those numbers. And let me tell you something. If you had a ranch to bet at the point of every single one of those numbers, you would be a multi-billionaire today. So here's your only question you have right now. The only question in your life is this. Is now really the end of the fucking world? I mean, we got through all of that shit for 100 years and now it's over? Really? I mean, really, at the top of our game, when we have look, we have almost $9 trillion sitting in money market accounts. Think of this. Do we really think this has gone stupid haywire enough to think the end of the world has arrived?
Nope. Hell
It's
no.
not going to happen. This is going to be number 7 on this very same chart when we're visiting number 8 some years in the future. And we're going to go, God, can you fucking remember how low the market was back in 2025 when all that stupid tariff shit went on? That's what we're going to say about this.
Let's go. If that doesn't help you get a fucking grip, I don't know what will.
Okay, so go to the next one. I want to show you now. Go to the one right above that chart. Right? Nope. So here's all the marks, the same exact marks, 1 through 6 on the S&P 500. Now you tell me, what happened after every single one of those numbers?
Higher. Much higher.
This shows you how fucked up fear can make you. Because guess what? At every one of those numbers, the world was friggin' terrified. Terrified. They couldn't move. They were so scared. Okay, let's go to the last one. Last one with the purple. Yeah, there you go. So I took this snapshot earlier in the week, so it's 2 days old. It was the second 15 sentiment reading in a month. Okay? We haven't had that in years. Now, what's comical about this is that at number 1, at Bitcoin 71,600, the crowd loved Bitcoin. Loved it. I mean, they couldn't find enough of it. They couldn't talk more excited about it. You couldn't get a word in edgewise if you weren't telling everybody how fucking high Bitcoin was going to go. Today, they fucking hate $80,000 Bitcoin. They hate it. They don't want anything to do with it. Get me out, guys. It's not going to get to 108. I'm done. I'm finished. I don't want it. I guarantee you they're going to want it at 150. Guaranteed. If you don't let this chart etch into your mind and understand the world we're living in and how big the opportunity is ahead of us, then you should just pack up your bags and go home because this game is not for you. In fact, it could be dangerous for you. But this is literally, you're staring at the opportunity.
Man, that's amazing. I can't wait to watch that back. If you find yourself, feeling scared or, of everything going on, definitely watch the replay of this stream again. A couple times of what Max just went down. I think just seeing all of those things historically, how every single fucking time something like this has happened. Again, most of these crises have been actual real world catastrophes. This is based on fear. I think that it really helps people kind of put it into perspective. I think number really quickly before we move on, like the number one thing that's allowed me to grow in general in crypto, but especially during these times, is watching interviews from people or just listening to spaces or streams like this from people who have lived through these crises before, and kind of studying that data. It allows us to kind of keep calm and realize that this is just another crisis. So, hell yeah, Max! Thank you so much for breaking that down, brother. That's going to be a great clip.
Amen.
Furlock, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Besides the corporate credit, I'm trying to go back to the chat for the first time here in a bit. Besides the corporate credit thing, anything else this week gone down as far as like macro or news wise? I think it was mostly just the tariff stuff, but anything you can think of? I had a bunch of stuff written down. We just went over.
No,
Um,
I'm
Yeah, I
assuming
mean,
the tariff stuff's just dominating the headlines.
yeah. What economic risk does the uncertainty of the tariff pause create for global markets? I mean, we're kind of already seeing that, brother. Fundamental news moves the market explosively. I might want to reconsider getting a press job for Trump.
I
Uh,
think one of the headlines that just came in is that the Fed reportedly is absolutely ready to stabilize the market if needed, which means they're not going to let it crash in any way. And we already saw that in 2020 and 2022. Ever since the financial crisis of '08, the Fed will intervene and print as needed. So it's pretty much telling you that we got your back, and at some point, all of this will stabilize and the markets will go back up. So it just kind of like further tells you if you were scared, this is not the time to be scared.
Yeah, look, guys, when everybody else is scared, this is the time to find whatever you need to find, whatever it is you need to find, to dig down deep and find the courage to turn off the fucking noise and stop asking questions. Stop. I'm not saying stop asking questions. I'm saying stop the chatter in your mind. What if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if there's nothing you're going to do to stop it? All you can do is quiet your mind enough to take advantage of it, not figure out what it means. You are not going to figure out what it means. So stop trying. I'm not going to figure. I've done this for 43 years. I can't tell you why they do this stupid shit. But I can tell you this, for 43 years, the public has acted as dumb as they've acted since the day I started. It's why most people aren't rich. The fact is they outwit themselves. They don't understand the force of emotion. Let me tell you something. Your emotions will paint a picture in your mind that you believe is 100% true. It's like a mirage in the desert. It's not even close to true. Why do you think all those numbers on those charts that we just showed you for 25 years and real live disasters, why do you think they all turned out the same? They all turned out exactly the same. And this one will too. This one will turn out just like the other ones did. And do you know when it will be obvious? Long after the lows. I mean, so long after the lows, here's what your mind will tell you then. Jesus Christ, I wish it would go back to 84,000 so I could buy it. That's
Yeah.
the sick part about all this.
For sure. Yeah, I remember that somebody just said that in the chat when you said that in our one of our VC streams. Always pay for the fucking for a dip. Pray for a dip. Somebody's asked. He keeps asking this. He said, "Max, how do you think Trump's going to pay the debt? Do you think he's going to pay it with Bitcoin?"
How do I think Trump is going to pay the debt?
Yeah, like I think he means the
national debt?
yeah, the national debt.
Well, first of all, the national debt isn't what everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
The national debt is nowhere near $36 trillion. And it's let me ask you a question. If so follow me on this for a second. 36 trillion, we're told two things about our national debt. We owe $36 trillion of it. And oh my God, it costs us $1 trillion a year in interest. Okay, here's a little math a class for you. $19 trillion of that $36 trillion. And just for sake of keeping it easy, let's call that 50%. 50% of our quote debt is money that we collectively, as the United States of America investing audience, has taken out of their left pocket to put in their right pocket. They bought a bond. Happens every day of the week, many, many times. They choose to buy a bond, which means of that $36 trillion ugly, scary monster that the press loves terrifying you about, we owe half of it to ourselves. So that gigantic monster of, quote, $1 trillion of national debt service, guess what? Half of it goes to us. That's $500 billion of interest income to the United States investor. So really, you have to understand this. The media will drive you fucking crazy. That's their purpose. This is not the end of the world. Now, nobody wants that big number. And the first way you get it to be a small number is you stop people stealing from you. So if we were not having a market meltdown right now, and if everybody wasn't trying to figure out how to torture Trump's plan, then you know what we'd be watching? We'd be watching laws getting passed, and our senators and House of Republican members would be getting arrested for being thieves. So they would much prefer we keep skewering Trump's tariff plans. Because God knows the media is busy enough with that. They don't need to worry about getting the Senate arrested for being thieves. And it doesn't matter if they're Republicans or Democrats. They're all doing it. So you got to realize, guys, when you hear about a monster, you have to train your mind to say this sentence. Well, first off, about 80% of what I'm listening to is horse shit. And then just worry about 20% of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody kind of has to realize that at some point in trading, that most information is not good information, especially coming from people who haven't been in the game for a while, or just don't know what they're talking about. I think in normally in life, it's good. In general, in the markets, it's good to learn from everybody, but specifically in market speculation, you want to take, or whatever fucking investing, you want to take everybody's stuff like with a grain of salt.
So Alphabet, real quick, Alphabel is asking, so why was it paused? I'm assuming they mean why was the tariff paused?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to Wednesday of last week. You do realize that when Donald Trump said, "I'm going to tariff the entire world," there were no tariffs before he said that. So he threatened you with this new asset that he pulled out of thin fucking air to use it against you, meaning the rest of the world. And what did he do with that? Well, he spent the first 48 hours beating people over the head, saying, "Man, you think this is bad? Don't go my way, and it's going to double." Remember, it's still fake. It's imaginary. But he then said, "I'll double it if you don't do it my way." And what happened? Well, in the first 100 hours, 70 countries who, before that 100 hours, were all charging us a tariff, said, "Hey, can I come over and we'll renegotiate this?" Meaning, Donald Trump took something completely imaginary that did not exist, made it into an asset, turned all those countries into real live believers that if they don't renegotiate, they're going to get tariffed. It didn't happen, but once everybody's healing over, what does he do? Well, he takes the pressure off. Great. If you're coming over to negotiate, then I will hold off for 90 days. But those dickweeds over in China don't want to do that. So what did he do? He doubled it. I promise you, China will negotiate. They cannot afford to not do it. Now, some people will type in, "Well, that's Trump manipulation." No, it's not. It's smart deal making because it's going to make America better. And if you don't want America better, well, then you can probably call it manipulation. But it's to make the country and the global trade market better. When it's all over, it will be better than it is right now. And everybody will win, even the countries that renegotiate their tariffs that they have against us. They will do better when we're done.
Can you explain why that is? Just because America's thriving, the whole world.
America feeds the entire world. I don't mean
Yeah.
food, I mean business.
Yeah.
If you've heard the saying, if America catches a cold, everybody else gets the flu.
Yeah.
And it's happened that way since we started to exist.
And how long have you've said this before, how long have the US had the like terrible trade deals? Like when did that
World War
has it
II.
always been that way? World War II. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We made an agreement. Well, we didn't make a physical agreement like this, but we found ourselves in the middle of a globe where most of the economies were shattered by the war.
Hmm.
So we fed those economies by doing trade in a way where they had a better deal.
Gotcha. Okay. World War II. So that was wow, yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, Alpha Bell says, "Thank you so much, Max. America is definitely the world power." He says, "Why is China being so difficult?"
Because China is a communist country and they have 1.3 billion people that they must keep in control. Because if they cannot control China's 1.3 billion people and keep them believing that the very best thing for them is a communist leadership, then Xi Jinping will be overrun by social unrest. And if that happens, China is a complete disaster for the next, I don't know, 100 years.
Yeah.
So it's better to stay in order.
Hmm.
So if you're a communist leader of 1,300,000,000 people, the very last thing you're going to do is, quote, give in. You're going to be the baddest dude on the planet because you got to be, or they're going to lose faith in you.
Do you think they're going to try to make it seem like they won in some way? Obviously, to the people, they will,
They
right?
have to.
Yeah.
What did Donald Trump say literally 48 hours ago? China wants to make a deal. We just have to figure out the best way to get it done. What
Yeah.
that really means between the lines is I have to figure out a way that Xi Jinping can do my deal and look like he won.
Hmm.
That's all it is, guys. That's it. Everything else is money. And right now, both people are losing it. So they'll both figure out how to make sure China looks like he won while Trump gets what he wants. That's how they'll do it. But they're not going to do it in public, and they're going to yell and scream at each other until it's done in private.
Yeah.
And the media will take all of that and tell you, well, based on our research, the risk of recession has now risen to 84%. And
Yeah.
everybody will buy into it.
Dark says so was a smart strategy. Yes, sir. Al- Ale V says, "What's the chances U.S. sells gold to buy Bitcoin?"
I would say above 80%.
Above 80. Wow, I love that. Um, this is why China ensures they control their media to maintain control over the people. Yeah, they have to. The rivalry is insane. For sure. Yeah, I think this is a good discussion. Roach, you still with us? I think he is, right? Let's see. I have to go to this other screen. Where are we? Um, there
I
we
am,
are.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Let's check. Let's go and check up on the meme coins real quickly. Pretty much same old again. My take here, not overcomplicate it. Just like anything in crypto right now, you can throw a dart, whether it be meme coins, the top 50 alts, even AI, really anything. You can throw a dart at the top 50. These coins that have been through these corrections before, and just like in let me go to trading view. Just like in September of 2024, I'm sorry, summer of 2023 and 2024, I think the same thing is going to end up happening here as far as meme coins go. That when Bitcoin is done with its correction here, that the meme coins that survived will go back to the upside and go to new all time highs. During these periods, like in 2023 and 2024, like I said, a lot of meme coins die, as we've seen a lot of these AI stuff's dead, never to come back. But the coins that survive come out stronger, usually with stronger communities, better supply dynamics, and all of that. So for me, the plan has not changed throughout this entire time. I've just been slowly buying the top about 3 to 5 high conviction meme coins before. The biggest criteria I think for me is again the coins that have survived these corrections before. It means they have diamond handed holders, people that have a kind of mission driven further than just like price go up. They're chasing like higher price targets or just like trying to build something bigger. And I see that in SPX, Giga, Mog, Ticker Bitcoin, those kind of things. Again, these are the ones that I'm going to continue to buy. I do believe that not only do they go back to all time highs, but very likely multiples above them. And we need these crashes to kind of get that supply dynamics to get there. So, yeah, Giga, for example, is still 5 or 6x from all time high. I think just like right here, just like right here, just like every other time it's corrected big here, I think it's going to go to all time highs and beyond. And I mean, like I said, you're looking at a 6 or 7x if it does that. So yeah, I'm just not overcomplicating it. Have not been touching any low cap stuff at all.
You
For
know,
me,
which one has actually gone up significantly that you and I have been discussing about whether Giga or the other one is PopCat
oh
was
yeah,
around 220 million earlier today. I don't know what is it at right
oh
now.
wow, 33, yeah,
That's pretty crazy.
33.
So I think people are trying to diversify from Farcoin as well because it was until today pretty much the only token that was going up consistently.
I,
Yeah,
I hate to say this because it's a meme coin, but I would tell you that um, there is one that I bought for the first time.
oh yeah. What
Yeah,
is it?
Pengu.
Okay,
Paying you. not
Oh
the
yeah, Pengu. Yeah, I heard Alex Becker talking about it. Yeah.
Okay. Is that where you saw the Becker video, Max?
Actually, I strangely enough bought it about 5 in the morning, and I think he came out. What was
Nice.
he came? When did he post his?
I think a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah, he posted his thing. 3 hours ago. So what was that about? Yeah, I think it was like mid morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Pengu too. I think again, operator Luca Nets behind it and his idea for like social currencies. I think I really like. Now, Max, what made you buy Pengu? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, I just thought, these things are just getting so rinsed. It's, even if it goes lower, I'd buy more. But it's obviously a huge community, and uh,
Abstract. Abstract is coming out too. The airdrop, right? So there's a ton of like
right,
mini projects, and I think Pengu also they got the. I don't think it was was it an ETF? I don't know, but they filed for
They're
that.
applying.
So
Yeah, the
right.
ATF is the Pengu and the NFTs together in one.
It just has so much utility when it comes to NFTs, gaming, chains, and the Memecoin part of it. There's a lot of value. So I agree with Max. I think it's a great buy at these levels.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, uh this is not abnormal to see when these big airdrops happen, especially when a lot of people were getting like 100K per fucking penguin drop to their wallet to see this major washout. It's actually what happens most of the time, I would say. And then two, obviously, was met with shitty conditions in general. But I think you just look to the operator and Luca, his what he's done so far with the penguins and kind of making them the top NFT project. And then just I think I posted it in here like so his idea for like social currencies to kind of make them integrated into the Pengu ecosystem and all that. I agree. I like Pengu. I'm still holding my airdrop and then I should probably buy some more here too, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on this for sure.
how's the
But yeah,
anime coin doing, the Zuki one?
same kind of thing. I think got washed out. This it right here. Yeah. Um, let's see. I hate when they have these fat fucking red candles at the first one. Um, but yeah, just kind of been chopping down since that airdrop too. At 85 million, might be another one as well. I think if we do get another NFT bull market, that these NFT tokens will probably do really well. Um, but yeah, I don't have any anime. What about you guys? Anybody hold
Uh,
any anime?
I might start trenching soon, but haven't been really doing anything.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, SPX Gigamog, ticker Bitcoin, all like 5 to 10x's from all time high. I don't think you need to overcomplicate it here. So that's kind of been what I've been doing. And then when conditions do improve, maybe start messing with the low cap stuff. But again, there's just crazy gains in front of you with these already proven coins. If you can just have some patience. So that's my plan. For Loco, you been buying anything? Fartcoin? Anything?
Yeah, Parkland has been my biggest winner. I think we discussed it a few weeks ago, and it was around 350 to 400 million market cap. So that's been my biggest win in pretty much this year. Because it hasn't been a very good year for anyone, but yeah, so Bitcoin pretty much has it's been my largest position, and then I bought Bitcoin around 76 and 77,000. I've been adding. I've been pretty much like mostly stables with only Farcoin and Bitcoin. I discussed this with our Bitreal community a few times, but it's the Bitcoin, the Farcoin, and stables for me in crypto. So
Nice.
that's been about it.
Damn. Fartcoin just 2x away from all time highs. Leading indicator, hopefully, for the rest of the meme market. But yeah, we're already seeing SPX Gigamog, all of these ones when Bitcoin moves up, immediately moving up as well. I think once it's clear that Bitcoin's at all time highs or close, I think these already existing memes are just gonna fucking rip. So
Yeah. And I'm very, very excited. I know this is not part of the meme coin or the NFT category, but I'm very excited about stable coins. with Stripe and all these companies, and just like market cap of stablecoins keeps growing, there's gonna be a lot of like yield opportunities just holding stablecoins versus fiat currency. At the end of the day, you're also erasing the volatility of owning any crypto asset, but your USD or your dollars are in on chain. So that brings liquidity, access to worldwide trade, global trade, as well as yield opportunities, right? Which is very exciting because I mean, if you go to any platform, when you put your money in money markets, are maybe earning 4%, and then you have to factor in third party fees, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when you go to stable coins, you're pretty much eliminating all third party transactions and fees that go across. So even though stable coins are not as exciting as owning other assets that go appreciate faster, you're still earning very solid yield while having your cash or your liquid cash on chain, uh, earning a yield that is way more attractive than having either in your bank or a HSA account. So stable coins, Bitcoin, and if you want to go down the risk curve, then you can own Pengu or Farcoin just to have more upside exposure. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm noticing again, even with these the kind of renewed optimism among tariffs, still seeing crypto Twitter being extremely dead. More than since probably August, the last correction, August of 2024. Have you noticed this too, for logo?
crypto Twitter being dead.
Yeah, just like the
Yeah, I
last
mean,
week.
it's been dead. I mean, we had that max super crash in AI, the AI sector, which there's still a lot of people building in there, but way less. And it was obviously heavily incentivized by the narrative and tokens being launched on pump.fun every day. And now it's definitely more quiet. And I think people lost a lot of money in Q1, and many of them have checked out. So yeah, it's still quiet. People are not still buying it, but again, this is the time where you have to either believe or completely erase yourself from the industry. And we've been in so many of these crashes that I particularly just feel numb to any of these dumps, and
Yeah,
and right now is when you should start to feel optimistic from my perspective.
yeah. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but the fear is so strong that people are just ignoring like the most rational like things in the world that countries are buying Bitcoin, all this regulatory clarity, but still the only thing like present in their mind is fear and just crazy what it does. And you're a completely valid point. A lot of people did lose a lot of fucking money. Um, I think most people in crypto kind of go through that initial phase. Like most people I know who have made millions of dollars or fucking whatever done really well, have had one phase at least where they, whether it be at the beginning or at some point where they kind of get burned, whether it be having too much in alts or memes or whatever during when the music stops. But yeah, I think generally a lot of these people will probably come back hopefully and not go through the same situation as before. But generally, I think we're going to see a lot of the same thing. I mean, speculation, greed, whatever you want to call it, gambling, these coins. I think it's just going to keep
Brent, you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little.
coming. I think people are always going to be looking to speculate. See fucking everything sports betting whenever they put it in, but they still keep coming back. I think that's going to be the increases. We're just going to see more and more of this pump fund stuff until you hear me. Or did you say something, Max? Did I? Can you guys hear me?
You were breaking up there a little.
Yeah, you might have to re-say all of that.
Yep.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello?
I think
Oh no, it's just me and you, Max.
yeah, he might not hear us.
Oh no. You know anything about the Michael Saylor situation? Any new alpha from there?
Oh, I think he's you know, going to load the boat forever. I heard him in an interview the other day. When it's $1 million, he's going to buy a billion a day, and when it's 10 million bucks, he'll buy billions a day.
Hmm. What's their premium to NAV right now? You know.
I don't have that in front of me. I do know this: we have it in every one of our portfolios. So um, we have it in our public portfolios, and we're in the middle of underwriting a large private fund for all the high net worth individuals to own the tokens outright, and 10% of the portfolio is going to be master.
All right, guys. Sorry, I'm back. It cut out.
You're good.
Cool.
Look.
Um, but I don't know why I'm hearing an echo. Hold on.
Oh, it might be me. I don't know.
It might be me. I'm trying to get back onto my computer right now. I'm on my phone. But Rhodes, you still with us, brother? I know you're always with us, but
So it's 2x basically NAV premium right now. I got invited to a someone's trying to do the same thing for Solana.
Yep.
Um, and they got like the seed people in MetaPlanet to start this one with him. So they're raising like 100 million or something to start like a Solana microstrategy.
Yeah, we're targeting 500 million from our client base. So
Into MicroStrategy or into a different.
no, into a whole portfolio of digital. So
Oh,
it'll be about a third Bitcoin, maybe 15% ETH, and then a whole bunch of stuff and NFTs and micro and a
yeah.
couple other publicly traded companies. It'll be quite a few things.
Um, NFT
yeah. We
wise,
should
that's interesting.
Yeah,
we
Um,
should we
just going to
should
hold it
chat
for like a
after
decade.
this because you might be interested in allocating into some of this. It's like
so
a
you're saying that you're just gonna hold them for a long time?
Yeah, we're just going to. This is being instructed to all investors that this is not a trading vehicle. We're not looking for a quick profit. We're going to hold it for a decade and watch the currency world change underneath us.
Yeah, yeah. If it's in that case, you guys definitely need to get some crypto pumps. Um, but yeah, Rhodes, you still with us, brother? He might not be. I wanted to do some NFT stuff, but one second.
Oh, I think Rhodes is off to another meeting, so it's just us. Brent, if you want to pull up your screen.
Yeah, I'm loading my computer real quick. Hold up.
Oh, put back up the green. There it is.
Uh, thanks. Are you able to open your screen? Share your
Uh,
screen.
I will say this: there is a
yeah, I have to go.
downtrend line that on the chart. If we close real close to this area, we're going to have broken above it for the first time on a closing basis in a long, long time.
Where? Which one am I looking at here?
Well, let's see. I don't know how to show my chart, but
Oh, I have it up if you want to tell me how to do it.
well, um, draw is that a daily? Yeah,
Yeah. Bitcoin?
yeah. Just draw it where. Bring it down a little further. Right there. Down. I've always drawn trend line. No, I've always drawn trend lines where you touch as many bars as possible. So if you bring that down right, you see those bars about halfway up that line that are all right together, and they slant right there. Perfect. Okay, so
Well, sniper right there.
uh, So the question is if it can stay above that over the weekend. If we can get to next week and it's above that, I have a feeling this might be something.
I feel like it. I feel like it's something already.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it.
yeah, because
I'm
no one
gonna go
believes.
buy some. I don't even know how. What's the best way to get exposure with equities?
I would go master, and we have another one that is Semler Scientific, SMLR. They got trained by Sailor to use their treasury in Bitcoin.
Hmm. What about like marathon?
Those are miners. That's very tough business.
I know we operate some miners and we're getting.
Yeah, miners are just. I mean, it's just a, and it's only going to get worse because they're going to get less and less. But I don't know that a miner is the way to go. That's a dwindling asset because they're going to spend more and more and get less and less. So that's tough. But if you got the leverage flywheel like Master has, or MicroStrategy has, you, you know you can pencil that out to thousands of dollars a share.
Right.
Awesome. So yeah, my computer's not letting me share my stuff right now, and I don't want to keep people waiting. So we'll review NFTs next week. Um, but yeah, I think we're coming up. Yeah, let me look at the. We're coming up. Good. Thanks. Do you see any questions in the chat? The last few minutes.
You're breaking.
I'm not
Uh,
looking.
Not really. If you have questions, put it in the chat.
But
If you have questions right now, put it in the chat. We'll answer them real quick.
um, but yeah, Fritz is not here. I'm not able to share my screen. We'll just do the NFT stuff next week. I think not much has gone on this week at all, anyway, in NFT land. But yeah, if while you guys are still on here, definitely give a follow to everybody on the panel. Like I said, we do these shows twice a week. Tuesday, like today at, I'm sorry, Friday, like today at 1 p.m. PST, and then Tuesday at 10 a.m. PST. We'll be discussing with the whole gang, including traditional finance vet here, Max, who has lived through all of these different crises before. A lot of them we went over on that chart on the screen earlier. So we're blessed to have his insights here. We'll obviously be talking about everything that's coming on as crypto, you know, absorbs and takes over everything. And we appreciate you guys so much for being on. Like I said, we'll be back on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Follow everybody on the panel. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss a stream. And Max, thanks. Anything else before we sign off?
No, I just bought the dip right now, so hopefully it's green.
Oh yeah, and definitely go shoot Max a follow. Follow his YouTube channel. He'll have an Instagram and stuff put up soon. Get all these clips up, that wonderful clips that we've had from the stream.
Yeah,
And
we do have the Team Six Crypto Instagram. We just got to get some
okay,
videos into it.
perfect, perfect. Yeah, if you want to send me the IRL or the
Yeah,
link for that, we'll post it in the comments. But yeah, with that, guys, we'll see you on Tuesday. Just stay patient, stay in the game, and we're just getting started.
let me
Love you
say
guys.
one more thing, if you
Of
don't mind.
course,
Can I say one more thing?
of course.
Um, you got to realize this. This is a tiny dot on a chart in a whole portrait that's being painted. And it's a massive portrait of the entire world. That's what crypto is going to do. So you got to realize this is the beginning. You're a pioneer and you better hold on because the whole fucking world is going to change.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday. You guys have a great weekend. Be safe and take care. Peace.
See you guys. Peace out.
See you guys.